Yesterday David put on our Facebook page a few photographs of my shaggy flies, and we've been asked to show you how they're made, so here goes. Start with a grub hook. I like these because there's a continuous curve on them. You could use any other hook as long as you wind the body around the bend a little bit. I started the thread, which is white, in the middle of the hook and brought it up to the eye, where we tie in something which is optional. This is a bit of fluorescent wool, could be a few strands of fluorescent floss, and take the thread back a little bit. The next item is this stuff, Flashabou, crystal hair. There are a variety of types that will do the same job. And the idea of this is it's going to make the body kind of translucent. Next, a piece of gold wire for the ribbing. So we can hold all three materials together and wrap the hook with thread. This is not an entirely new idea. Way back in the 1920s, John Donne wrote a book called Sunshine and the Dry Fly, where he tried to make his flies translucent. He painted his hooks white, but this is a way of doing it which is a lot less hassle. So over the white thread we wrap this tinsel. And of course the problem we have here is that once you get towards the eye of the hook, there's no way of tying it off. So your finger goes on top so that it doesn't unravel, make a loop and a half hitch around the hook. You can do that actually twice. Makes it secure. Next item, seal's fur. It is kind of golden fiery brown colour with a little bit of hair fur mixed in just to mellow the shade a bit. And you dub it on, but very loosely. This is a shaggy fly after all. Very often you hear people saying their best fly, or most successful fly, is the scruffiest one that's been in their box for years and ripped to pieces. Well, this is a way of making flies that are hopefully well tied, but achieve the same thing from the word go. Now that has been wrapped around in fairly open turns, or wraps, so that you can see, or you should be able to see, the tinsel underneath, and you can make it a bit more scruffy by rubbing it with a gun barrel cleaner. The ribbing, about 5 or 6 turns or wraps of wire in the opposite direction. That's plenty. At this point we can trim off the tail. You don't want to overpower it with bright fluorescent, so it's quite short. The next item is the hackle. Now, it's not a conventional hackle. I don't use feathers for this. What I do is I split the thread. The thread is a gel spun thread which lies flat on the hook and can be easily split. And what I'm going to do here is load that gap with a little bit of hair fur taken from the body of the animal. You lean it over your finger, or rest it over your finger, and spin the thread. So as the thread spins, it twists, twirls the hair fur round and grips it. wrapped on, a couple of turns is more than enough. Now you could leave it like that, do a quick finish, but I use this material quite a lot, pheasant body feather, which has been dyed. You could use bronze mallard, CDC, anything for a wing. It just set on the top, measure to length, held so it's over the top and the sides of the fly. Almost dabbler style. Tied down. The little fluorescent tag and the pheasant feather can be trimmed short. And the thread is in coloured to make the head. And then just do the quick finish as normal. Now the point about this fly is it's not a single pattern, it's a style of tying flies. So they're soft, mobile and translucent. And to get the effect of that, if we put it in water, you can see how mobile all the fibres are. And if you look at the wet fly, you should be able to see the tinsel showing through the body underneath. All you have to do now is put it in front of a fish.
Thank you, Mike.